Hello, world of tank blitzers and future momrads. I'm Littlefinger, back again. This time we are sharing a little bit more knowledge about the German Tier 2 light tank here, Panzer II. You can see it in my garage. This tank combines good speed with excellent maneuverability. It does have 30 millimeters of armor, and it is one of the few tanks here you can see on the guns that only has the autocannon. I wasn't a big fan of it, and I did struggle quite a bit to get a mastery in this tank. Anyway, hit points 260. Like I said, 30 millimeters of armor. Speed limit there of 40 kilometers per hour, which is right in line with the rest of the light tanks at Tier 2. Let's take a look at how I have it set up. No camouflage. Consumables, I am running repair kit, the multi-purpose restoration pack, and the engine power boost. I didn't really see a need for the fire extinguisher, and of course adrenaline is not available on the autocannons. So provisions, I am running all three: standard fuel, chocolate bar, and protective kit. Ammunition, you can see here it only has AP, and the Pramo is APCR, and I am carrying a few rounds, and of course you can change that to credits to buy those by clicking on the shell price button there on the right. And equipment, running an enhanced gun lane drive, vents, and toolbox. Under the tech tree, let me just show you here, this tank at the bottom takes you along just about any line you want to go up on the German side up to Tier 10. I think the only one that you can't get to up there in the upper right is the Grill 15. So anyway, let's jump in and take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and then we'll get into some gameplay. So here's our trusty spreadsheet. You can see I've got the Panzer II highlighted there at the top, and it is all green as far as hit points, hull and turret armor, and it is one of the lighter light tanks. Horsepower is a little light, but it does give you about average speed. The turret traverse there is above average also. Looking at the gun, penetration values and damage are definitely the lowest in the class, but that's made up for with your super high rate of fire with the 8 shells per basically per load. So anyway, dispersion there at 0.5. It's got a good aim time, but I felt like those shots were pretty much going all over the place, and kind of struggle with this gun a little bit more than I did with the other Tier 2 tanks. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how it played. Alright guys, time for a little gameplay. Here we are in our Pz.II. You can see this is the new Copperfield. Just waiting here to see which way the team's going to go, and typically like to go left or right. Don't usually see the team go straight into the middle as kind of an open bowl. Sitting ducks down there. Don't recommend this strategy whatsoever. So I'm going to stay on the outskirts here. You know my strategy in these lower tier games is to always keep yourself around hard cover. You can see here I'm protected by these rocks. So the T-82 there pops up, get a few shots into him. Not going to rush him. He is a tank that can do a lot of damage, so got to take him cautiously. This AT-1 starts running up, and you can see I'm backing up. I don't really want to take these guys on head on. I'm backing up here, waiting for the reload. I'm just going to keep on going. He's kind of afraid of coming down here, not sure if there's any other tanks that are behind me supporting me, so he's going to turn around, and I'll just push back up the hill and take him out. Now some of the Reds have gone down into the fishbowl here, taking out our players. You can see it's a 4-on-4 game. There's another Pz.II, and looking at that tank, you can see how much red there is on it. It has a lot of armor. And so now I'm just trying to be optimistic, just looking for, some targets. And you can see here shooting this gun, getting a lot of bounces. He's been shot, engine's damaged, so I know he's not moving. I can pull up, and of course, I'm looking to get shots into the side of him. That's his weak spot here. And I am trying to give him a little bit of an angle, probably a little bit too much there, so he is taken out. And just gonna stick on the outskirts here. Never really want to put yourself in the middle where you can get into a situation where you're getting crossfire from multiple angles. So again, gonna take the high road here. T-18 pops up, and of course that is a very difficult tank to take on from the front, especially in a tank with such a weak gun and penetration. So I know I'm gonna need some extra penetration, so I'm going to switch over to APCR and see this guy. Looks like he's AFK, but I'll go ahead and take some shots. And instead of being tunnel vision here, I am going to switch back out and keep an eye on this T-18. I know he's coming for me. Switch back to APCR, get him in the tracks, and try to skirt around him. He shoots me on the side, which bounces because of that angle there. And so now it's really just a matter of trying to keep on the side of him. And managed to get 3 rounds of shots on him to his 1 that actually bounced. So team came back from that. Looked like we were in trouble there at the beginning, but you can see there 672 damage. I held my own in a tier 3 battle. Again, here's the old Copperfield. I did take some of these videos at about the time we had the update and the new map. Gonna push to the right here. Got good armor on this tank, so I can be more confident going this way. It's not a super fast tank, not the greatest for flanking. I get spotted, so I'm gonna get back down the hill here, and you can see on the mini map they have sent half of their team to the other side, similar to ours. Looks like it's 3-on-3 over there. Meanwhile, I'm working on this T2 medium. And now it looks like it's 4-on-3 over there. And so these guys are kind of just sitting out in the open, going to just find my biggest target and pump some shots into them. Preferably like to shoot the higher tier tanks and get those out of the way sooner than later, but sometimes you just don't have a choice. It's obviously always better if your team can focus on 1 tank. And, the more guns you can get out of the game, the easier it is. Instead of seeing a bunch of tanks on the other team that have half their hit points remaining at the end of the game. So we're struggling here a little bit. This tank's not really fast enough, and they're going to push up on our remaining flanker there. And so they have 4 guys all in a group together, and there's 3 of us. And I figure, the best thing that we can do, I don't want to be in a situation here with this T-46 4-on-2. The best thing we can do is regroup here. So I'm going to push around to the corner, hoping that the T-46 does the same thing, but you'll see that he stops here in the corner, which does not work out well for him. I'm going to hit the turbo just to try to catch up, kind of exposed in this corner, so I'm going to want to get around to these buildings and somewhere where I at least have some cover. This tank has a very strong turret, so if I can get hull down, I'm in a much better position than just sitting out there in the open. So unfortunately, my other teammate there continues to push around, but he's distracted them. They're looking the other way now, so I can put some shots from this location into their sides. The problem with this gun is it only does about 40 to 50 hit points of damage at a time. So you know, you need 3 or 4 rounds against a tank just to be able to take him out. And you can see from this position, just my gun is sticking over the top here. That's a very small target and a very strong target at that. So we are now down to 2-on-2. I figure they're going to come around. And the Pz.II, I know he's got good armor, so I'm going to switch over to APCR here because every shot really counts at this point. I'm going to try to get out early and get him. He bounces there. Looked like he only had 1 shell in the magazine, which is kind of a mistake on his part. So you can see that even with the APCR, I'm still showing some red. So you got to be careful where you're aiming here. Go ahead and make sure that he's my target. That T7 carrier there does not have good penetration. So if I keep the front of my tank pointed at him, he's going to have a hard time penetrating. And you can see he's just bouncing every shot. He doesn't know where to shoot on me. So as long as I keep him to my front, I will be fine. And so we managed to finish off with the last 2 kills and the win there. But it's all about knowing your opponents, what kind of tanks they're driving, and I wasn't worried about that T7 car. See, I had 925 damage in that game, and there were a couple tier 3 tanks as well. Alright, let's jump straight into another one here, this time on mines. As normal strategy, pushing the mine hill is critical. Keeping an eye on the mini-map, making sure I've got help behind me. And that way I know if I can push safely or if I need to drop back if they've all come up. But looks like they are going around low on this map. So I'm going to pull up behind these rocks here and just take my shots on open targets, really. The guy's going to drop off and do himself a little damage in the process. The MS-1 here. And you can see that I do bounce a few shots here because all I'm showing is the turret on this tank, which is extremely strong for a tier 2 light tank. There's another bounce. I'm not pulling all the way out, which would expose the side of my tank. I'm going to here just so that I can finish him off. And this is kind of a little bit of a mistake on my part. I know that they're over at the lighthouse. I've already taken 1 shot from that side, but I should have probably moved off to the right behind those rocks in the middle. And you see here I take another 2 big shots, and so I am basically now down to a 1 shot. I'm down to 10 hit points. Figure my best bet is to just try to get this jag out of the way and go ahead and do that and push around the corner thinking I can circle of death the medium here, but the Renault Atsu's kind of gotten in the way. I'm not as concerned with him as long as I can keep moving. He's got a very slow turret. It looks like he tried to ram me there and did no damage. And unfortunately I got tracked and I couldn't turn to keep facing him, so he was able to get to my side and finish me off. And you see here our base capture is at 86, and those guys were not helping whatsoever. Look at this medium here. He sits here for 20 seconds and doesn't even take a shot. So I was pretty much alone in this game. I was a scout. You can see 721 damage. The next highest was 77. I mean, that's just a really bad team. Okay, so the last game I'm going to show you here is back on the old Copperfield. Just trying to figure out which way the team's going. You can see I am one of 3 tier 2s. The rest are tier 3s in this game. Going to push right. It's a good spot to use the armor. Being cautious here, obviously low tier. Got some big guns on the other side. So just going to wait and see if anything pops up around the corner. Gets a few shots in here. He's not being very cautious enough, so he is going to drop off there. Figure I'll see what's around the corner. They are both on the other side of the hill, so I'm going to go ahead and be patient here. and get this T2 medium out. And he is taken out there. So now we are going to push around the left here, and you can see here how much red the medium is showing there. So I'm going to play a little bit more cautiously. We've got a guy sitting in our spawn. Doesn't look like he's doing anything, so looks like we're already down a tank. So again, just going to take a few shots and back up. Trying to stay in between these obstacles here so that maybe he hits that, but he gets a shot in on me anyway. Don't really want to keep pushing because he's got support to his left, my right. So we've got this Hagao here. Go ahead and finish him off. And we're just trying to keep these guys contained around the corner there. That T-82 is one mean tank, so be very cautious with it. He does have a long reload. He's just shot into the hill there, so I know that I can reload and then get another round of shots in there before he can, especially if he's on the move. He's really got a long aim time. So now we're going to focus back on this medium. I'm going to switch over to APCR here because I just want to get these shots in. Checking around me to see where everyone is. We are down to 5-on-3, so it's not looking good at the moment. Not sure what that guy still at our spawn has been doing. He's finally moving now. You can see here this M2 medium. That's exactly the best way to play that thing. It's got the greatest gun depression. And you just want to play it on a ridge line like that and peek over the top of the ridge. So this guy knows what he's doing, so I'm going to go ahead and move in here. It really would have been nice if my teammates had come with me. We could have taken him out because he is all by himself, whereas the other guys are moving in a group. So this is probably my mistake here in the game. I am now the last tank alive, and I probably should have just kept going down and gone to the left of the building. But he circles back, and it gives the T-46 and the other tank there time to spot me up and get a few shots into me. I mean, 4-on-1, rarely going to come back from that situation, especially as a low tier. But obviously I want to make it competitive. I don't want to just give this game away. They've got one sitting in cap. So there's that T-46. Going to go ahead and get a couple shots into him, but his gun is just too good for me. Finished me off there. So can't win them all. But you can always be the top damage though. Anyway, good little tank, great armor. Not very fast. A little bit wild with the shots. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage per shot. So play cautiously, hide behind hard cover, rocks and hills and so forth, and use this tank to explore your way up pretty much all of the German lines. So anyway, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe. Get smart. Not fingered. Littlefinger out.